right. Well, welcome to the Becoming Project. It is another episode. Pastor Michael here with you all. So super excited to be here. It's been a while since we've been in this space, but I am grateful to be in this space because this is where we started. And so it just feels good to be back in this place. So if you are new to the Becoming Project, welcome. The Becoming Project is a place where we get to hear the stories and life experiences of those not only in our church but in our community and abroad uh, who's made it to where they are today. And so we get to hear their stories of how they became who God has called them to be, or how they're becoming who God has called them to be. And so on this episode, it's just a check in. I haven't done a video in a while of just myself, but we will have some more guests coming up. And we were going to get some female voices. Let's throw that in there because we need some female voices on the couch. And so we'll have some female voices join us soon on the next couple of episodes. And so super excited about that. But excited to be here with you all. It is July. It is hot. It is steamy. We've had a little bit of rain because it's monsoon season, so it is a little humid. But welcome to the valley. This is what it is. Again, super excited to be with you all. So we'll jump in here. It has been a whirlwind in my life as of late, from going from completion of master's degree. So I now hold a Master's of Divinity degree from Iliff School of Theology, based out of Denver. So super excited to finish. It has been 5 years. And that journey is complete. So super excited about the completion of that journey. Trying to figure out what to do with my time has been very interesting. It has been filled with other things, of course, naturally, but that has been completed. Also, I have now been commissioned as a provisional elder in the Desert Southwest Conference of the United Methodist Church here in Arizona, in the southern part of Nevada. So super excited again. Monumental moments in my life as of late. I'm still trying to catch my breath. I did a lot of traveling at the beginning of the year, at least the first 6 months. So that's why we've not had any real becoming projects. So we're back because now I have the time to really get in here and do what we need to do and spread love and light across the airwaves and videos for all to see, for all to join in. But again, super excited. I'm also a little sad and frustrated, I think, with the world, with the country. Again, like I said from the beginning, you can go back to some earlier episodes. This would not be a political podcast, but if you do all things gospel and you follow the gospels and the teachings of Jesus, you're speaking political, because his movement was a political movement, and I won't ever take that away from the movement. I know a lot of people, let's separate church and state. Let's separate politics. And again, this is not a political podcast. It won't ever be that. But we will talk about the kingdom of God, and we will talk about Jesus's movement, his walk on the earth, his time on the earth, and what we can learn from that. And so I'm just, I'm prayerful. I'm a little heartbroken, a lot of heartbroken, to see people take from so many people and think they're doing a good job. That this is what we're supposed to be doing, taking away food from those who are already struggling to get food, taking away health care from those who really, really need health care. Um, and all of this to line pockets and do other things, but to do um, the ministry or to do the work of God. This is just not of God. And I'm going to just speak that. This is not a movement of Christ. As I preached last week on holy disruption, Jesus doesn't even go together with power and control. That shouldn't even ever go in the same sentence. We shouldn't want to put that in the same sentence. And yet we have so many people who do want to put that in the same sentence. And so for me, that is devastating, that we're using the church, God's name, Jesus, in that way. But what I won't ever do is argue with these folks. I'm just gonna go and do saving Jesus, right? Like I'm gonna go and teach some classes. I'm gonna go and do all of those things. But what I don't need to do, because we serve a big God, is step in the way of God getting the last word and the last say. And so for me, God gonna handle all of this. We have to play our part as servants and as followers of Jesus Christ. We truly have to stand up to the powers that be, and we have to tell the truth. There is truth and power, and that's one thing Jesus stood firmly on is the truth. And so we have to talk about the truth. And the truth is, it sucks what's going on in the world today. It sucks. It sucks that we have leadership that wants to take advantage of people and to do it just to get their name out there, just to collect the extra few dollars or whatever the case. It sucks. And it sucks that it's happening to marginalized communities and people, especially our black and brown people. Yeah, it's just heartbreaking to know that this is going on, that things past that are going to be devastating for so many people. And so for that, I pray against that. And we're going to stand against that as a church and as a community and as followers of Christ. We stand against all of those powers of injustice that are spreading rampant across this country. But yeah, so there's that. I just wanted to highlight that today. But yeah, so back to becoming. Michael is becoming. So again, finished school, now commissioned. Going into my next set of 2 years of all things. If you're not familiar with the United Methodist Church, um, if you're not familiar with the United Methodist Church, we go through this process of local license and then ordination. And so through local license, we get to decide, or we get to discern, if we will, if we're going to be elder or deacon or serve in some capacity. And so I decided the elder route. And I've gone the elder route, so I'm now on the elder track to become a full ordained elder in United Methodist Church. And so super excited about that. But had a great time in Colorado for graduation, ending a chapter, and had an even better time. And this was probably my favorite annual conference, if you will. Just because, and we got to do it in Vegas this year, so that was amazing. Shout out to the Rio. This is not an endorsement plug because we are not being endorsed, but shout out to the Rio for hosting us. And my thing was uh, power. What was it? To see the Methodist folks in Vegas was a little funny to me because we did take over the Rio Hotel, and so that was great. That was fun, but it was a great time. And to be asked to preach and bring the message for the memorial service was such an honor. And I didn't go into much detail because I never want any sermons to be about me. That's just not who I am. I'm gonna do a little bit better in incorporating my story and my life into the things, my experiences, because I think we can learn from a lot of our personal experiences and share those with the world. And so I didn't really tap in or go into a lot of my experiences in the funeral service industry. And so one of the reasons the bishop asked me to speak of the memorial service, because I do have a history, some experience. My first career, if you will, was in the funeral industry. I missed that career a lot. Not to say I don't love ministry and love what I'm doing, but I miss funeral service. I miss I was the embalmer. I was the mortician in the funeral side. And so I miss embalming. I miss doing makeup. I miss making people look beautiful in their final days. In the moments where family are just looking for um, some solace, some peace, some hope, some joy, a little extra. And so there were many nights, and so I got to preach this memorial service. And the title was "Don't Quit," and so it was really, I wanted to encourage family and friends not to quit. Right, we are surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. These clouds of witnesses, our ancestors, if you will, are watching us and they're leading and guiding us. No, we don't worship them as our deity, but we do have some veneration for them. We do remember their stories. We do hold on to their love. We do hold on to the teachings and all of the things that they've given us in their time on the earth. And now they're not here in this realm. But we hold on to our ancestors because on our ancestors' shoulders we stand. No matter where you come from, no matter your background, you have ancestors to which guide and lead you. And so I wanted to bring that home, that we have to run our race, that they've passed the baton to us, and we have to keep moving forward. And we have to keep going out and becoming who God has called us to become, even in the midst of grief, even in the midst of hurt, even in the midst of pain. And so here we are, right? And so I had to preach this message of hope and peace and encouragement to continue the fight. And so it was an amazing experience to preach this to this group of people, but also to then be commissioned in the same weekend was even more special. And so Dayspring was on full display on all fronts, from Pastor Jeff on a panel to me up there for the memorial service and commissioning, to our AV tech, Ryan, who was there, working and doing things behind the scenes with videography. And so we were definitely on display. We were definitely um, doing the work of God, even in that space, truly doing the work of God with colleagues and friends. And so that was an amazing experience. And so I get back, and so now I'm trying to take it in. If you know me, you know that I am now in my head. Okay, what's next? What do we do next? School is done. Commissioning is done for now. What is next? What is the next? What is Michael becoming next? Um, and so I had a good friend, and he's been here on an episode, Pastor Khalif, a good friend. We talked, and he said to me, he said, "Well, Michael, you've done all the things. So now just go and be. Just go and rest. Just go and be in the presence of what you've done. Be in the moment. Don't think about what's next. Don't think about what you have to do. Don't think about what's coming up. But truly think about just being. You've worked hard to become. You've worked hard to get in the space of being. And if you are a person of color, if you are a person of the queer community, if you are a person who has been marginalized and alienated and pushed to the margins or the outside, you know what it means to always be striving for the next, right? To always be going after what is next. What can I do next? Okay, I've fulfilled this journey. I've checked off this box. Okay, what's next? And we never give ourselves time to really sit and be. And so I want to encourage you all as I encourage myself, because I'm truly having to uh, encourage and tell myself to just be, to just rest, because you've worked so hard to get to this place. You've moved across the country. You finished school. You started school. I started school in the pandemic. Um, it's been 5 years. I started in 2020. I graduated in spring of 25. 5 years. So talk about a journey of doing it hybrid, on in person and online. And now to be in this space of, okay, what is next? I closed the chapter. And so what's next? And so my biggest thing, I think, for at least this episode in this podcast is have you, and just a question that I've been wrestling with, in therapy. So I had someone to bounce some ideas off of and talk back with. Um, am I afraid of who I'm becoming? Are you afraid of who you're becoming? After you've done all the things, after you've done the planning, after you've done the work, after you've put in the time, after you've cried, after you've been angry, frustrated, all the things to get to where you know God is calling you to be, are you afraid to become that thing? And that's a question I am still wrestling with, because in some spaces, this is what I fought for. This is what I've strived to become and to be. And yet there's still some fear in who I'm becoming. And the fear comes because I'm moving a lot faster, or it seems to be moving a lot faster than what I thought it should or would. And so I'm trying to be okay with that. I'm trying to be okay with that. I'm trying to be okay with the timing. A lot of times it's God's timing and not our timing. And sometimes God's timing is really fast. And so when I think about my 2 years here, because now it's past July 1st, so now I've been in Arizona 2 years now, and grateful to continue to be in a place where I've been able to be, and to be it authentically, and to do it without reservation, or to do it without fear of others. Yes, I still deal with fear in certain areas, but the fear of others is truly, truly diminishing and falling away. And so for me, that's a part of my deconstruction of my faith. It comes to a point to where that piece of your life does have to truly fall away, where you don't care anymore about the opinions or thoughts of others. That's how you know you've made it, friends. Like that's truly how you know. Like when you don't care. I'm trying to get like the seasoned saints, the ones that's in their 70s or 80s, who say what they want to say, who do what they want to do, who just don't care, because they're like, we're old enough at this point. Like we've paid our dues. We've done all the things. And so now we're going to do what we want to do. We're going to say what we want to say. Even in the times where they don't need to say it, they still say it. And for that, I am grateful, because that is an example truly of how to be and how to live in the world, especially when you're becoming your authentic self and you're becoming who God has called you to be truly. Because when you walk in your purpose, when you walk in your true calling, you're fulfilling God's promise, right? To become and be and live, and to do it authentically with all power and all glory. There is power in truth. There is power in living in your truth, and there is power in operating in your truth. It wasn't until I began personally to really lean into who I am, and who God has called me to be, and to find my space of being okay with that. Took a while. But now that I'm here, I'm amazed at the doors that have opened when I became me, when I allowed myself to be, and become this new person, to become um, this next version or iteration of Michael, just as you all will become your next version of yourself. And there, and I just want to put this out there because it's from my funeral background, and there is some grief in loss. There is some grief in losing that person who you were. That person is no longer. That person has died in a sense. And now you are now this, you've morphed, you had this metamorphosis, right? You are now this butterfly. You went from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And in that time, in that chrysalis, when the things are happening, there's a change happening. There's structures being rebuilt. There are figures being reconfigured. There are things happening in that moment where you cannot come out the same. And so here we are as we're on our journey of becoming, we're like that caterpillar going through our chrysalis moment in the cocoon, doing all the things, um, getting taught in the wilderness with Jesus. I feel like I'm Jesus in the wilderness for those 40 days, right? In those moments, Jesus is learning what it means to do ministry, right? He's out there pushing past and fighting against the adversary, the enemy, those things that want to cause him to give up on his birthright, to give up, to go and show people just how powerful he is. Go and Jesus is like, I don't have to do any of those things. I don't have to prove anything to anybody, to be honest, because I know I'm the Son of God. I know who I am, and I know whose I am, and I know who has called me to go and do the very things I'm about to do. For me, friends, when I think about Jesus in the wilderness, I'm thinking about Jesus spending time with himself, learning and working through his own self doubts that he might have had, his own fears that he might have had, his own back and forth with God, his own conversations and struggles with the Father. Right, like this is a moment in the wilderness where Jesus is truly seeking himself, seeking, who am I? Who am I? I'm the Son of God, but who am I? I'm in this wilderness. I'm fighting the doubts and fears that are rushing in. Again, he was human, so I know he was feeling these things because I feel these things, right? I feel these things when I've moved to a different level, or I have a new mantle, if you will, and I don't want to use big church jargon, but he knew the weight. He knew the magnitude of which was being placed on him. And so I'm sure there was some in my spiritual imagination. I'm sure there was some conversations with self. Are you sure you can do this? Do you have all that you need? What tools do you need? And then you hear the enemy coming and the adversary coming, and that voice that tells you you're not good enough, you're unworthy, you're going to fail, this is not good, you're not good, right? All of these things, I'm sure those voices, and as we read, what did the adversary say? Throw yourself off the cliff and the angels will come and catch you. And Jesus is like, for what? I don't need to do that. I know who I am. Turn this rock into bread. And what does Jesus say? We cannot live on bread alone, right? We cannot live on milk and bread alone. Like, we cannot do these things. And so from that, I look at Jesus' example to keep going, to keep pushing through, even through the voices, the doubts, the fears, to go and become. And so now, as I'm wrestling with this question, am I afraid of who I'm becoming? In some instances, yes, because I've never seen him before, right? I've never seen him before. I don't know what he sounds like. And yet I'm excited because all of those things. I don't know what he sounds like. Is he ready? Right. And so now I feel ready. I've gotten the schooling, I've gotten all the education. I've now moved to this different space. I've now taken roles within the conference that I didn't think was even possible, or that not even that it wasn't possible. It just wasn't on my radar. I wasn't even thinking about it, and yet it finds me. And so I think to now be chair of a committee that's now a new standing committee within our conference, the face, if you will. The face with others behind me, right? We are a team, we are a collective. I just get the honor to sit in the chair seat, but it's really a team, right? We are really focused on advancing love and light in the conference and the world. And so I'm stepping into some new places. And as much as I'm excited, again, it came so fast. Am I ready? Do I have all the tools? All of those things. And so my thing is, you're never really ready. You're never going to have all the tools. You can prepare, you can do all the things. But at some moment, you have to go and just do. At some moment, you have to go and take that step in trust and faith that all things will work out the way God has intended it to work out. And so this is my journey. This is my journey I'm on in this new season of of the Becoming Project, of this new season of who Michael is becoming. I pray in this new season of who you're becoming, because I feel like there are always seasons in our lives. And so some seasons go and seasons change. Seasons come and go as we go from winter, spring, summer, fall. That happens in our lives where we too go through these changes and metamorphoses, and we become somebody and something else. So I'm excited because you all get to go on that journey with me in this new chapter as we close school, as we close um, commissioning, and now move into this next. We get to write this chapter together. We get to write this chapter wholeheartedly, authentically, is definitely the goal. I pray each and every time that you hear an episode of the Becoming Project, you hear authenticity. You hear sometimes you're gonna hear struggle. You hear perseverance, and you hear hope. And so that's truly what I want to convey, even on today, as I think about my journey, think about how I got here, think about what this means next for me and my family. I'm excited, y'all. Like I am super, super excited to be in this position, to be able to continue to love on God's people, continue to lead God's people the way the Holy Spirit is leading me, the way she's teaching me and guiding me to go out and teach and lead others. And so, yeah, I'm just super excited, and super excited for where the Becoming Project goes in this next season, in this next iteration, with guests and myself. And we'll step back in here just with some personal things. But yeah, I just really wanted to touch on that just a little bit, just to give you all just a heads up in my life and how I'm becoming this next, now going from pastor to reverend. Those things, yes, they're titles, and I don't get hung up in the titles by any means. If you know me, I don't care about the titles, but it's just interesting to go from one title to the next, and the different responsibilities, um, and respect that comes with those things. It's just interesting, and so yeah, we get to journey with me as I become, and become in being, as I rest in the being. Now we get to become. So yeah, super excited. I hope you all are doing great. Um, it's been a while. I miss being in this seat with you all, and so we're going to do a lot more of these. Truly, 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 the Becoming Project is something special, and I know together we can take it to the next level. And again, more guests coming because we want to hear the stories. This is not just about me, but this is just an update episode of just where Pastor Michael has been, and where he's going. And so super excited about that. Super excited so we can journey together. Yeah, and if you have any, as you listen to this, and if you feel like you know some people that you want to hear from or have some interesting stories, let me know. Shoot me an email. Let Ryan and myself know who could be some good guests, who you want to see in here, what stories we need to hear. Yeah, this is for everybody. This is not just personally for me or whatever. This is for all of us, so we can journey together, we can become together, and we can lean on each other and encourage each other as we're all striving and journeying on our journey to becoming. We can all do that together. And so again, thank you all for being with us. This is definitely not a long episode by any means, but I think it was a good one just to check back in, just to see how everyone is doing. Again, I'm super excited. We're going to be back, and you're going to get these again. They're going to be coming as we did before. We're going to get back on their rotation, and really, really start diving back into the Becoming Project, because I believe truly this is something special and something we need, especially in a time like this, where there's just so much hate and negativity in the world. There's so much fighting in the world right now. And so, how can we have some encouragement in the midst of the turmoil, in the midst of the chaos, if you will, but truly focus back in on who God is calling us to be as a people, and who God is calling us to be individually. And so until next time, we'll see you soon. And remember, God loves you, and so do I. Have a good one. Peace.